everyone, welcome back to Thursday Thunder here at Horizon Hobby. We're going to kick it off strong here with Jason and talk about the RealFlight 8 Horizon Hobby Edition. We have plenty more to come here, but this was kind of the big thing from last week, so we wanted to jump on and talk about it. So Jason, why don't you kind of just do a quick little intro and then we'll kind of get into the details here.
Yep, so very quickly, it's very exciting because it is the first time RealFlight, which I think most would regard as the #1 flight simulator in the world, is now set up to have Horizon Hobby aircraft and technologies inside.
Yes.
Obviously, what are known as some of the #1 aircraft and technologies in the industry today. And so for a long time, the guys that sold RealFlight before, they said one of the #1 comments and questions they always had, it's like, why don't you have Horizon airplanes in your simulator? We don't get it. And obviously, I think a lot of people understand why that wasn't the case. Right. We had a simulator that we put our aircraft in before. That simulator is no longer available through us because now we have RealFlight. We have the best simulator in the world, now with the best aircraft in the world in it. And what's really exciting about it is it's an add-on. So it's not necessarily an upgrade. It's not an update. So you do have to purchase it separately. But the nice thing is it does work with RealFlight 8. So if anybody has bought RealFlight 8 in the last year or so, you can buy the add-on. We sell it separately. And you can purchase that to add the Horizon aircraft and technologies into the sim. And actually, one thing that we are doing, though, is if you bought RealFlight 8 after September 1st, we're actually going to give you the add-on at no charge. Right. So you have to contact us to get that. You can check on the Tower Hobbies site. If you bought it through Tower, you can do it there. If you bought it through your local hobby shop, you can contact us directly at Horizon Hobby. We have that information on our product page. You do have to contact our customer service staff, and they'll take care of that for you. You have to provide proof of purchase. Right. You're going to have to provide your serial number, but then they will get you the add-on for free, again, if you've purchased RealFlight 8 after September 1st. Yep. So in that said, we no longer do offer RealFlight 8. It is no longer available as a standalone version. We now have kind of the combo package of RealFlight 8 Horizon Hobby Edition is now the standard version that we're selling. Right. And as of seeing this video, you guys will be able to purchase this right now today. It is available for digital download if you don't want to wait for it. So you will be able to do that. But of course, you have the versions available with the controller, which is a larger box here. That's the software. It's RealFlight 8 basically, plus the Horizon Hobby Edition add-on, plus the Interlink controller for those that don't have them. And what's cool about the Interlink controller is it plugs directly into your computer. You can actually reset right from the transmitter or controller. You can change your model. You can change your flying field all from the transmitter. You don't actually have to have a mouse. You can be standing way far away from the computer. If you want to be, let's say you want to plug it into a big screen TV and stand a little ways back, that's an option as well. So that's the most popular version. A lot of guys buy that if they don't already have the controller. However, if you already have the controller, you can buy just the software only. So for someone who might have like RealFlight 5.5, for example, that was the last version that I bought, I could buy this and use it with my older Interlink controller. This is the newer Interlink controller. The old ones do work, and so again, you can buy just the software-only version. That will also be available for digital download, and then also available in the DVD form. So again, if you have already RealFlight 8, you can also buy the add-on separately, and that's $29.99. The software only is $99.99, and then the software with the Interlink controller is $179.99, so $180 US. Again, all available at the time that you guys are seeing this. Should be in stores as well. Some stores actually have kiosks set up and display set up so you can actually try it in person, which is really exciting. And so again, the big thing here is we've married the best simulator in the world with the best aircraft in the world. And one of them you can kind of see here on the screen of the laptop is the Timber. A lot of guys know the Timber, and it's one of our best-selling airplanes, one of the best-known airplanes in the world. And what's neat about that is you can now fly the actual Timber in the simulator. It's got AS3X. It has safe. Here I am trying to fly it kind of from afar. But what's really cool about it is you actually now can practice flying your Timber when the weather is bad. You can practice flying a Timber if you've never had one before. And I'll show you here. You can hit the reset button. See how it resets really nice and convenient from the controller. That's really great. It does have a Spectrum AS3X technology inside. It does have Spectrum Safe technology and Safe Select technology inside. And so one of the neat things that I didn't really know and didn't really expect was that the guys that work on the software for us, they actually take the genuine AS3X software and settings and safe software and settings and put them into the simulator. Oh, wow. So it's not like they just said, okay, here's a Timber, it has Safe Select, which is self-leveling and bank angle limits. We're going to emulate that. No, they actually took the real software and put it in there. It's very, very cool. The physics are just like the real aircraft based on the 3D CAD, so it flies a lot like the real thing. And I know, like Matt, for example, Matt Andren that developed a Timber, he's been flying the heck out of it. it. He's very impressed. It flies a lot like the real thing. It's pretty amazing. So again, you can practice at home. If you've never flown a Timber before, you can try it. So we have the Timber on there, both with wheels and with floats.
Okay.
We have a bunch of other airplanes on there, the Hobby Zone Sport Cub S, the E-flite Apprentice 15E, which a lot of guys are going to learn to fly with. So both the Hobby Zone Sport Cub S and the E-flite Apprentice are airplanes that guys would want to practice with because they may not be able to go out and fly as often or may not have the skill set yet to do that. And so they can try those at home. We've got the Carbon Z Cessna, big E-flite Carbon Z Cessna is going to be on there, Cessna 150. The F-27 Evolution, and then one of my favorites, we have the Mini Convergence, the pretty much brand new E-flite Mini Convergence is in there. So if you've never flown a VTOL before, now you can try it in the simulator. That's awesome. Or if you already have one, you can practice again at home in the comfort of your own home. And then we've got Park Zone Crescendo Advanced, Hangar 9 Carbon Cub 15cc, the Hangar 9 Ultra Stick 30cc, which is one of the most popular Hangar 9 airplanes. We've got a couple of Blade helicopters in there, the Fusion 270 and the Fusion 480, very exciting. So we've got all those aircraft. They come in the add-on. They come now when you buy the RealFlight 8 Horizon Hobby Edition. And it's really exciting because, again, a lot of those are some of our most popular, best-selling airplanes. Also, some of the ones people are most intrigued by, like the F-27 and the Mini Convergence. Guys really want to try those because they're maybe a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of flying something unusual like that, but once you try it in the simulator, you're going to see it's pretty darn easy. We have the flight modes set up. There's actually two options with the Mini Convergence. We have two different setup options, just like we recommend in the manual. So that's very, very cool. And so again, we've got the best simulator, best aircraft married together. I think it's what a lot of people have been waiting for. A lot of people have been asking for it, and now we've done it. So a couple of quick caveats. The add-on, again, only works with RealFlight 8. You can't buy this add-on, the Horizon Hobby Edition, to add to RealFlight X. You can't put it on RealFlight 7.5. At this point, it's only available for 8. Again, it's an add-on, so it only works with version 8. If you have an older version of software, for example, RealFlight 7.5, 7, 5.5, whatever it might be, you'd have to buy, again, the software only if you already have a controller that you want to use. And then also something else you can do if you don't want to have the wired controller. Let's say you want to use your Spectrum transmitter. We have improved compatibility now with the Spectrum wireless dongle, the WS1000, which is really cool because now you can actually use your field transmitter with all your switches that are in the right places, assigned the way that you want them to be assigned, wirelessly. So for example, you can stand way far back from it. Let's say you have a big screen TV in your living room. You can hook it up on your computer, run an HDMI cable, and stand way back just like you're kind of get that feeling of flying, standing there flying. And then something in addition to that you can do with RealFlight 8 is the VR compatibility that it has now with virtual reality headsets. So for example, the Oculus Rift, you can fly one of two ways. You can fly either in the cockpit of aircraft and turn your head around and look down the wings while you're flying around, or you can actually be standing at the flying field and looking around just like you would be in real life. It's very, very cool and an amazing experience. Now, that does require a bit more computer. But one thing I want to talk about is that a lot of guys have been asking, can this thing run on a laptop? It sure can. This is just kind of a standard work laptop that we have here. It is not set up for gaming. It is not set up for very, very high performance activities. It's basically set up for emails and Word and Excel, and that's about it. And it's running RealFlight just fine. In fact, we've actually shown that it works on some very low cost computers. We're going to probably go out and grab one, just a $200 laptop at Best Buy or wherever it might be, and run it on there because this software has been so optimized over the many years that it's been available that it can now run on a very basic, simple computer. You may not have the graphics turned all the way up and get all the textures and all the features that you can visually see in RealFlight when it's turned to the max, but you can run it very comfortably, fly it, and it feels just like the real thing on a very simple, basic computer. A laptop that you can buy for a low price if you don't already have a PC or a computer. You can run it on a computer that's a couple years old. You can run it on a lot of computers that people are surprised that it runs on. And I think there was a misconception out there that it won't run on a laptop. Now, RealFlight X, that's a different animal. That uses a different engine that requires more computer. If you want to run virtual reality, you need more computer. But if you are just flying it kind of in its standard configuration, especially if you don't have the graphics turned up all the way, you don't need a whole lot of computer to do that. So again, we're just using a kind of a standard laptop here, and we're going to probably do a separate video where we show it working on a very low-cost laptop for people that don't already have a PC, which is surprising. 10 years ago, it's like everybody had a PC, right? Now not everybody does. A lot of people have tablets and things like like that. So if you need to go out and buy one to run this, no problem. It works on desktops. It works on laptops. It probably works on things like Chromebooks even. So at any rate, it's something you can check the specs that are of what's required for system requirements on the website. You can see, correlate them to your computer. If you need help, you can contact us. We can help you sort through whether or not your computer is up to snuff. But again, I'm saying in most cases, it's going to be good to go. And again, this is readily available now when you guys see this video, which is really exciting.
Very cool.
So you can get this, start flying your favorite Horizon Hobby aircraft, and then also enjoying all the great benefits of RealFlight 8. So there's all kinds of awesome features in RealFlight. There's over 150 aircraft total now, 40 different flying fields. You can change the fields. You can make fields the way you want. You can make models the way you want. You can go online and download new models that other people have created. So that's really awesome. And then you've got multiplayer options, so you can play online. You've got new gaming options that older versions didn't have. There's training aids in there. There's all kinds of things. So if you're a beginner pilot, you need this. One thing that I like to reference is a story of when I learned to fly helicopters back in the late 90s, before even RealFlight was the simulator that it is today. I used an old-fashioned simulator, and I practiced for hundreds of hours on that thing. And the first time I went on and flew helicopters, by the third flight, I was flying upside down.
Perfect.
And that's because of the simulator. That wasn't because I, got lucky. That wasn't because I had a ton of natural skill. I just practiced on the simulator. It got me the eye-hand coordination that I needed and the comfort of seeing it in certain orientations and knowing what the sticks do and that muscle memory. I was very comfortable with it because of that. It also made me a better airplane pilot. So if you're a new pilot, it's a huge benefit to have it. If you're an experienced pilot, it's also great to have. So for example, Jace Ducia, I think a lot of guys are familiar with him. One of the best pilots I have ever seen in the world, hands down, without a doubt. A lot of his practice is done on RealFlight, and he loves it. He actually builds models for RealFlight, shares those models, so you guys can check that out. Check out some videos of him flying both on RealFlight and real life. It's really amazing what you can do. So again, entry-level pilot, you need this. Experienced pilot, no reason not to have it. You can fly in bad weather. You can practice maneuvers you wouldn't practice on your real airplane. And most importantly, it's going to make you a better pilot no matter what.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think we covered everything. And just message us if you have any other questions. We've already had a lot of people asking about system requirements and controller compatibility. So we'll let Jason go. We got still more stuff to come, so don't go anywhere yet. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And the highly anticipated and kind of the very much predicted Super Rock Rey is finally here.
Yes, people have been begging us online for this for probably since the day that we released the Super Baja Rey. They definitely wanted a version of a Super Rock Rey, so we got it here from Losi.
Yeah, and so one of the things that jumps out to me right away, it's not really just a scaled up version. It's a highly detailed scaled up version. So you can see like there's a lot of painstaking, I want to say like detail work that was going to put in that you're kind of seeing right now, but everywhere you look, it looks full scale. I mean,
yeah, definitely. That's the one thing I noticed right off the bat is like when you take it out of the box and you look at some vehicles, you sit there and go, oh, well, I'm going to add this on and I'm going to add this on to make it look, more real, more scale. And this out of the box, it's like, it's got the Fox shocks reservoirs. It's got the fire extinguishers. It's actually got, the rubber window netting on there. On the spare tire. The really cool part is it's got the suspension limiting straps, which I thought was really cool. And believe it or not, they're actually functional, which is cool.
You can adjust them, correct?
Yes, you can adjust them.
It's got mirrors.
Yep, it's got mirrors on there. The paint scheme is awesome. We've got the Raceline Wheels version and the Baja Designs version. Both are super cool. And then what we did from the Super Baja Rey, gotta keep them all straight now, is that we added an LED light bar in the front, LED light bar on the top, LED light bar in the back, and the back one actually has red and clear lights on it. So that looks really cool. That was one thing that a lot of people mentioned about the Super Baja Rey is they wish it had red in the back. So when it was far away, you would know which was front and back.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that's really cool. The one thing that we did different on this versus the Super Baja Rey is we actually went to 8S right out of the box. So we dropped from a 1400 kV.
Stepping it up a notch, huh?
We dropped from a 1400 kV motor on the Super Baja Rey to a 750 kV motor on here. And that allows you to run the 8S, which gives you a little bit more power, but actually lets the motor and the ESC run cooler by running the bigger battery. We messed around out front. we threw a bigger pinion on there. On the box, we're seeing 50 plus.
Right.
And it definitely goes 50 plus out of the box. Messing around out front, we threw a 19-tooth pinion on there, and we were well over 60.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, so she'll get up and run, but like we've been saying in all of our Thursday Thunder segments here, comes equipped with AVC from Spectrum. So, you may be going 63, 64 miles an hour, but this thing is tracking true and straight because of AVC.
Now, what exactly is this built for? I think it looks visually very cool, but what is this built for? Everything? I mean, I know that's kind of ambiguous, but...
it's hard to say because when you guys watch the product video for this later today, it came out awesome. We run it in the sand. We run it in the rocks. We kind of do some rock crawling with it.
Okay.
But the one thing we did on this version versus the 10-scale version is that we went with a stiffer sidewall. Okay. So, some people, when they tried to drive it on pavement, the Rock Rey was so grippy, to grab onto the rocks and everything, that it would tend to roll over a little bit. The stiffer sidewalls on these tires actually allow it to run a little bit more on pavement, and what we noticed is, the more you rip the throttle, it would more or less rotate on the top of the tires versus letting the sides grip in. So it was really cool. But yeah, like I said, in the video, we run it everywhere. So I'd still say that it's more for it's definitely off-road. Right. It isn't on-road. And it's a little big for rock crawling. So I think it's more for the high-speed sand dunes, throw some rocks in there, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it has a lot of articulation, like a crawler, but it's that whole rock racer segment that's new out there.
Very good, very good. And then this comes ready to run, correct?
Correct. Ready to run with the Spectrum AVC equipped DX2E active. Okay. So you could put your phone app on there. You could put the speedometer on there. Very good. You got a bunch of choices when it comes to that as well.
And what kind of price are we talking?
A little over $800, so right around $799 area. Okay.
And you have to supply a battery and charger, correct?
Correct. Okay. Correct. And like we say, this is 8S capable.
You don't have to.
Correct. Correct. You can run it on an 8S. You can run it on 6S or 4S even. So you could do whatever suits your style, whatever suits your speed. So if you're a new guy with this, you could start out with a 4S, go to 6S, go to an 8S. And then the other thing that's nice about the DX2E Active is got the 3-position switch. Yep. So if you do get an 8S and you want to put it in there right away, you could change the switch to go to a slower speed and make it a little bit more controllable to start with.
That's good.
Yeah.
And these are EC5, correct? Connectors?
Correct.
Two of them?
Two of them.
Okay.
Or you could run the optional dynamite plug.
The jumper?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So when we did a lot of our video, when we ran on 6S, we ran a straight 6S pack. We plugged it in and then put our jumper into the other port, and that cancels it out, so it works perfect. So you're only charging one battery. Right. 8S, we don't have any 8S packs handy, so so we were just using 2 4S packs. Exactly.
Very cool. I think we've covered a bunch. There's a lot to talk about with this.
Yes, absolutely.
Go to the website, horizonhobby.com.
One feature I do want to, I forgot about this. I'm ashamed that I forgot about it. But one of the coolest things is that some people with the Super Baja Rey didn't like the way that you loaded the battery in the back. It was a little bit more difficult. So if we can tip this up here, you can see that it now has a bottom loading battery.
Oh, wow.
I can't reach, but basically you pull out the lever and the door falls out. You put your battery in, plug it in, close the door, you're done.
That's great.
So super easy, super quick. There's no feeding wires and changing batteries to get them to fit. It just goes right in, and yeah, it's quite bouncy.
Perfect. Go to horizonhobby.com, towerhobbies.com for more information. We'll let Scott go. Make sure you check out the video, like Scott said, and I tell you what, we're going to get a lot of excitement about these. That's absolutely. For sure. So thanks for joining us. We still have more to come, so don't go anywhere yet. We've got some air stuff coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're now joined by Derek again from Blade, and we have another quad here. This is another addition to the Scimitar line, correct?
Yes, it is. Okay. So you'll kind of notice this one's a little bit smaller than the Scimitars that we announced earlier this year, but it comes in at a 110 size with the same kind of styling. So that same pod, the durable pod that kind of covers everything, keeps it a nice sleek look. So what this is a brushless micro, and you'll notice there. It's kind of reminiscent of what we see in larger quads today, and especially like the Scimitar line, like I said. But what that does is it packs a lot of power and a lot of awesome features that you really only find in larger quads into a form factor that's comfortable to fly in your backyard. It's comfortable to fly in smaller spaces, smaller parks, things like that. But it packs a lot of punch. So we were actually, we'll see kind of in the video, we're actually racing these out in the backyard. Really fits that backyard racer. So we've made a lot of key improvements to previous micros that we've had, and really taken feedback from that and some of the things that we knew could be improved, and really packed that in here. So kind of running down the list, it has bigger motors than what the Torrent 110 had. So it's got a 1106 6,000 kV motors running larger propellers. So no prop guards on this one. So what we did with that is, keeping that small form factor, we were able to run larger props. So the Torrent had 2-inch propellers. This has 2.5-inch propellers. So a lot more control authority, a lot quicker. Kind of pulling that kV down a little bit was easier to get a faster quad one with a better tune. So we spent a lot of time tuning this out of the box. It is Betaflight compatible, so you can obviously adjust all these things, to your liking. It has a improved ESC. So the ESC is actually running the D-Shot 600 firmware, which is really kind of a staple in the market today for smooth, controllable throttle response, and a lot of features that you get with that firmware. F3 flight controller, Betaflight, and Betaflight OSD is the big one. So that was one of the big feedbacks that we got on the Torrent 110 was no OSD. We've added that through the Betaflight flight controller, so you have OSD right on your screen.
Right.
So you'll see your call sign, you'll see your voltage, your flight time, RSSI, everything like that. So you can set it up however you want. Another big improvement, and probably one of my favorite features, is similar to recent releases that we've had. It has the new forward programming video transmitter, so a variant of that. So you can add, or you can change your channel and frequency, your power output through your transmitter. So that was another thing on the Torrent 110 that we wanted to improve upon. That had a 150 milliwatt video transmitter, and I know a lot of people were wanting to race these, and regulations changed a little bit. So now multi-GP standard is 25 milliwatt. We added that as a power output option. Right. So it has pit mode, 25 milliwatt, and 150. So the 150 is more than adequate to take around in larger parks and still have great video quality. Kind of to round it all off, we added a MMCX connector for the antenna. So the last one was hard soldered in, which made it a little difficult to switch that. Now we've added a really robust connector, so bigger than like the U.FLs. And so you can pop it right off. It comes right out of the back. There's a little slot there, pops in, kind of keeps it straight up. There's a little slot there for it. So a lot of great features, a lot of really cool stuff that we're excited to bring to market and get in your hands.
Now, what kind of battery do you need? I know we kind of mentioned it, but we didn't really get into detail.
So this takes a 3S 450 or 3S 800. You could run a little bit larger, but it's going to be heavier. Right. But really, that ideal range is a 3S 450 with the JST. So it comes with the JST already on it. We have those batteries are plentiful. We have quite a few variants of that here.
Great. And then when will these be available, and what kind of price are we talking?
So we're looking next month, so kind of mid to late November, and they're going to be on the street for $199.99.
Okay, and that's Bind and Fly Basic, correct?
Bind and Fly Basic, yes.
Okay, great. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot. I ran through a lot. So these are going to be really exciting. A lot of power in a micro, and a lot of really key improvements to bring in this update. So the Scimitar 110, check them out in about a month.
Yeah, definitely. HorizonHobby.com, TowerHobbies.com, and we'll let Derek go. We still got more to come, so stay tuned.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, we are now back with Jason with a new addition to the E-flite line, correct?
Yes, this is pretty exciting. This is the E-flite UMX Cirrus SR22T. Last year we came out with a larger Cirrus model, a 1.5 meter span, kind of a little bit park flyer-esque sized, and a lot of guys were asking us if we do something even bigger or smaller. And because it flew so great, people liked it so much. What's cool is it's a scale airplane, but it's not like an old scale airplane. It's a new scale airplane. It's something that you see very routinely at airports now. There's a lot of these out there in the world today. Some guys have flown in them. Some guys have learned to fly in them. So it's a very popular subject matter, very well-known subject matter, and it's just a kind of good-looking airplane that actually handles and flies very, very well, the full scale and then also the model. So what we did is we shrunk it down to UMX size. Now, because it has a high aspect ratio wing for an ultra micro, it's got quite a bit of wingspan to it. But that said, the classification is still ultra micro because kind of the size and weight and overall volume of it. So what's nice about it, though, is that it does have AS3X. So even though it's an ultra micro and it's very lightweight, it does handle the wind pretty well. It does also have optional safe select. Again, it's optional. You do not have to use safe select. You can program it to a switch. You can turn it on and off. You can set it on a switch, and then you can, beyond that, you can actually disable the switch by setting the travel, so you can't activate safe select. So you don't have to use safe select. Don't worry about that. But for someone who's a less experienced pilot, you do have that option available. So, you know, let's say you've not flown many low-wing airplanes before. Maybe you haven't flown many ultra micros before. By turning safe select on, you can successfully fly this airplane. And then as an experienced pilot with AS3X, it just smooths it out. Flies really good, even in a little bit of wind, a little bit of breezes. And what's nice about it is still small enough that you can fly it in spaces you wouldn't fly, the larger version. So you can fly it at a small schoolyard, maybe in your front yard, backyard, depending on how big it is. It is equipped with brushless power system. So we've got the 3600 kV motor, which is our more powerful, higher kV motor in our ultramicro lineup. It's the same motor that's actually used in our new UMX GB, or the updated version of the UMX GB. So it's got a little more power, a little more pep. It's got a really nice three-bladed prop. Looks very nice in scale. As you guys probably see, we've got lights on it, which is really cool. It looks awesome flying around in the kind of dusk or early morning hours. You can see the airplane very well. Some guys might be able and might be comfortable to fly it at night with these lights on it, but they're really more navigation scale lights. They're not really intended for night flying per se, but it is a really nice touch. So not a ton of our ultra micros have lights on them. UMX Timber is a good example, one that does, that people absolutely love. And so we've got them on here. It adds a nice bit of scale detail. We've got the three-blade prop. Obviously, we've got the scale outline. We've got wheel pants. We do have a clear cockpit. So we've got some, a little extra detail there. We've got some molded in instrument panel and seat backs.
Nothing
and
crazy,
things like
but
that.
enough to make it look good flying around.
Exactly. So I would say this airplane is probably one of our more scale ultra micros in overall plan form and kind of feature set and details. And it also flies great, very easy to fly, especially with safe select. By the time you guys see this, we're taking pre-orders now. The first shipment should be around the first to second week of November coming in. But with a lot of our new releases, we have actually sometimes outsold. So if you want to get one right away, make sure you get your pre-order in as soon as you guys see this. So you can get your pre-order in at your favorite local hobby shop, your favorite online retailer, horizonhobby.com, towerhobbies.com. Get that pre-order in so you reserve one in line. That way you can make sure you get one when we get that first shipment in. And what's really nice about it is I think that it's something a little different in ultra micros. We haven't had a ton of low wing, modern scale UMX aircraft, so it's kind of a nice addition to the lineup. For a long time we had a lot of warbirds and things like that, and now I think it's nice that we're going to branch out into a little bit more general aviation subject matter that I think more guys are familiar with, younger guys in particular, kind of more familiar with aircraft like this. I think it's going to be a very, very great addition to the lineup.
Yeah, I see Alan actually, our videographer, just zoomed in on that front wheel. Is that a steerable front nose wheel?
Yeah, it does have a steerable nose wheel, which is a nice touch. It has a ginormous battery hatch here. It's huge. It's got all kinds of space inside. It's got a little tiny 2S 280 battery. You can use sometimes a lower capacity battery, like all the way down to maybe say a 180 or 200 for less flight time. You might be able to fit a bigger battery in here. Just mind your CG, of course. It does have the 3-pin connector, which is what we use on our 2S UMX batteries. And yeah, it's just a great flying airplane, really good looking airplane. I think something's going to be very popular with a lot of guys.
Great. Well, we'll let Jason go. Any more info you need on this will obviously be horizonhobby.com, towerhobbies.com. I'm sure there'll be a video for this, I would imagine.
Yes, definitely. Yep, video's all done. Looks good. We're flew in a nice schoolyard.
Great.
Looks good.
Perfect. Well, we'll let everyone go, including Jason. Thanks for joining us. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you subscribe, like, comment, let us know your thoughts. I know this was one of our longer episodes, but I think it warranted it. We had some huge releases today. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you the same time, same place next week here at Horizon Hobby.
Thank you.